Hello again, everybody. If you are like me, there were moments in middle school, high school, maybe even college, where a teacher would pass out a new book and they would be like, this is your latest assignment. You're going to have to read the next 50 pages for tomorrow, and that's it. And maybe your reaction would be like mine, and you would be like,
why?
And it's not because I hated reading. Obviously, I love reading. Otherwise, I would not be on your computer screen right now. I wouldn't be here. It's mostly because I didn't like being told what to read. I didn't like being told when I had to read and what pages I had to have done each night. I just want to read what I want, when I want it. And is that really too much to ask? I don't think that is. But for today's video, I thought it might be fun to talk to you guys about some of the books that I was assigned to read in high school that I actually really enjoyed. The first book I actually enjoyed being assigned to read was The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. Read this book in high school, and honestly, I wasn't that big of a fan. I don't really know why, probably because it was high school. So back then I was kind of like, ew, old book. I have to read this. But I read it again at the college level and I loved it. It just wasn't what I expected. The plot when I first read it didn't seem that exciting, but honestly, Holden Caulfield, who's the narrator, just really makes the book. His mindset is just so unique and so different. Trust me, when you pick it up and finally read it, you'll be like, this guy is just so different. Like, I've never read a book like that. My experience with Holden Caulfield in Catcher in the Rye was just something that you can't really forget, so I really do enjoy this book. The second book I really enjoyed being told to read was Night. I took a Holocaust literature class last semester, and I probably honestly should have expected to be doing a lot of reading, but for some reason I was like, this'll be easy, this won't be bad, and every week we got assigned a new book, and every week I was like, I have to read again, and then I read Night by Elie Wiesel. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Might be wrong, don't yell at me. He just gets right to the point, and he just leaves you like, whoa, I cannot believe I just read this. I cannot believe this is a true story. I can't believe this happened. There were just those moments where you're like, oh my God. I had to put the book down a couple times and just walk away because it was just so powerful. So this is one of those books that even though there was a lot of reading in that class and it wasn't obviously the happiest material, I'm really glad I read this book because this book has really stuck with me. The third book I want to share with you guys is To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. And this is one of those books that once I finished it, I was like, wow, just wow. There's just so much in it to appreciate. The writing is great, the characters are unforgettable, there are so many quotes that are completely etched in my brain because I can't even forget the story. I'll never forget the story. And even the movie lives up to the book. It's one of those book-to-movie adaptations that I think just is really true to the book, and it really captures the theme of what was happening in the story. I don't want to give too much away about the plot because I think you guys will really like it if you just open it up and just go with it. And I really enjoyed this book, so if you ever get assigned it, get excited. It's a great read. My fourth pick would be 1984 by George Orwell. This was a book I actually had to read twice in high school. Once wasn't enough, I had to read it twice. And both times, I really enjoyed it. If you guys like dystopian books, like if you're a Hunger Games fan or a Divergent fan, you might like 1984 because it has that kind of feel. I'm not saying it's a young adult book because it definitely is more of a classic, but it does have that very dystopian feel. It shows you what life would be like in a totalitarian society, which is pretty much just a fancy word for when the government takes control of everything. And by everything, I mean everything. And it's really exciting to just see these characters living in this world and seeing how they interact and seeing how they try to rebel in their own way. And it honestly gets you thinking about our own world. Could this happen to us? What's in the future? Yada yada yada. I just really enjoyed it because it got me thinking, and it just kind of reminded me of some of my favorite dystopian books in a classic form, so I had to read it twice, and both times I really enjoyed it. The fifth and final book I will be mentioning to you guys is A Farewell to Arms by Ernest Hemingway. I read this book in freshman year, so I obviously don't remember a complete play-by-play of the entire plot, but I do remember some really intense scenes. I really remember actually liking Ernest Hemingway's writing style. You know, it's quick, it's curt, it's to the point, but he really doesn't need anything else. You know, it really just, it hits ya. His writing style just really, yeah. I don't know what I'm doing. So this is one of the first books I was assigned to read in freshman year, so obviously I was nervous going into my first year of high school, being like, oh my God, I have to read books and do all this homework and blah, blah, blah. And I finished this book just really optimistic for what else I would have to read in high school because it was a great choice. It's not the happiest story out there, but it's really powerful and it's really honest, and I just really enjoyed it. So there you have it. Those were some of my favorite books that I was assigned to read in my younger school years. So in the comments below, tell me the books that you were assigned to read that you really enjoyed. Tell me the books that you were assigned to read that you hated. Tell me whatever you want, as always. Once again, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.